Hi there, welcome back. So in this lecture we're going to learn about class. So Python is an object-oriented programming language. Almost all the modern programming languages has the class concept. Everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. So a class is like an object constructor, a blueprint for creating object. A class is an object constructor. A class is a template for creating objects which are instances of that class. Classes are very useful for creating related properties and methods. In a class, variables are called properties and functions are called methods. So enough with the definition. Now I'm going to jump into my IDE, give you an example which will make things a lot easier for you to understand what I have just explained. So we're going to create a very basic class and an object so that you can slowly understand the concept of class and objects and properties and so on. So let's create a class. So in order to create a class, we use the keyword class. So we type class, the keyword, to define a class, and then we use the Pascal naming convention. So what is Pascal naming convention? Well, Pascal naming convention is that every letter of a word should be uppercase. So I'm gonna create my first class using the Pascal naming convention, and I'm gonna name it I am class, considering the fact that I am one word. Okay, and I'm gonna end my statement with a colon. Now I'm gonna hit enter, and I'm gonna create a property x equals, let's say, 10, and then I'm gonna hit enter, and I'm gonna create a method. And method is function, but when we create function inside a class we call it method. So process is the same. We use the keyword def to define our function. So now I'm gonna type anything that we want, greeting, then I'm gonna add parentheses, and I'm gonna explain what self is. So as you can see, the word self, what is self? Well, self represents the instance of class. By using the self keyword, we can access the attributes and methods of the class in Python. Okay, so just bear with me and you'll understand what I'm doing. So now I'm gonna call my print function, right, and add single quote. I'm gonna type hello, this is a class example, something like that. So now I'm gonna hit enter again, and now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna shift tab because I want to exit out of this class block. Now I'm gonna create an object. So let's name my object. So I'm gonna call it I am object equals, now I'm gonna call the class, just like that. So now I have created an object of my class called I am class, and he's an object. So the difference between class and object, it's like we all are human being, right? Let's say if human is a class, then Abul Hussein is an object, a unique identity of that generic human class. So that's the relationship between class and object. So now I'm gonna hit enter again, and now I'm gonna call my print function, right, and I'm gonna type I am object, right. So according to the definition, this object should have all the methods and properties available to it. So if I add a dot, then I should be able to use this property and this method along with this new object I have just created. So if I add a dot, as you can see that I have x, which happens to be the property, and the method called greeting available. So let's try printing the greeting first. So now I'm all set. So if I right click and run it, then I should be able to print this string value on my code runner. So let's see if it happens. So as you can see, let's resize the window a bit. as you can see that I've got hello, this is a class example beautifully printed out on my code runner. So now let's change this and see if we can have access to the property called X. So now right click, run it. As you can see that I've got 10, number 10 printed out on our code runner. So this is a very basic form of a class, property, method, and object creation. Okay, and I'm not gonna extend this lecture too long because I wanted to keep it simple so that you can understand the concept of creating class, properties, methods, and objects. In next lecture we're gonna create another class that's gonna be something a little more informative and detailed and have a real world application to it. So I'm just gonna wrap this up. I hope this has been informative and you've learned some valuable lesson. I'll see you in the next lecture. Thanks, bye.